Hello, everyone. Welcome to Charlie's Garage. No, it's been a while since I posted any content. It's been a very turbulent time in my life. So some of you may already know this, but I am no longer associated with the Arizona Automotive Institute, and I will get into that later on in a different video. But I have nothing but love for all the students there and most of the staff. But moving on, I thought that this would be a great opportunity for me to discuss something that I get asked a lot by young people, and they're trying to find what they want to do in their life, and they're thinking about a career as a diesel tech or an auto tech. And the question I get asked is, do I need to go to a trade school? Now that I'm no longer associated with trade schools, I can give you my honest opinion on that. And the short answer is no, you don't need to attend a trade school to have a successful career as a diesel or automotive technician. So why would I say that when I dedicated so much of my life to those trade schools? Well, the easiest way to say that is I believe in trade schools, and I believe in the good they do, and I believe in the opportunities that they give people. So the question wasn't, does a trade school not help you? It was, is it required? And is it required? No. There are plenty of employers out there that will give you an opportunity to work your way up from the bottom and train you as you go. And there are plenty of people out there that might have, like I did, a quality education in high school. I went to a diesel program where I learned a lot, and programs in high schools have gotten so much better even since I went. I have a friend in California that runs a trade school that is top notch, and a lot of people in the industry flock to him for advice, for help, for wanting to help his students because they know that their help is going to a good place. So there's your opportunities, right? If you're willing to start at the bottom, work your way up, and don't expect to be able to buy a house, buy a car, and have frivolously right off the bat, then yeah, you can work your way up from the bottom. And I do mean the bottom. If you're going into a dealership with absolutely no experience as a technician, they're not going to give you a toolbox, park you in front of a car or a truck, and tell you, fix this. Typically you're working your way up. You might be a lot attendant, right? You might be moving cars around. You might eventually end up becoming like a shop assistant where you're running between the parts department and the shop, doing oddball tasks for the shop manager, eventually get promoted into a technician's assistant or apprentice, and you're doing jobs with him and he's training you as he works. So why wouldn't everybody go through that path? Why go through the path of going to a trade school rather than doing that? Well, you got to think about it. Most of the people who are graduating from a trade school, when they do get hired by dealerships and companies, they're skipping a lot of that, getting to know the environment, getting to know the roles, getting to know a lot of things, right? So they might not be starting out as a lot attendant or a shop helper or even as a mechanic's assistant. They might go straight into apprenticeship or something like that. The other advantage that going to a trade school gives you is that a lot of these places will hire you while you're in school to get a leg up. So you might be going to school and working as a lube technician at a dealership or something like that, which is always a good thing. Experience, any kind of experience is a good thing. So that's number one, right? So number one is it's not required. If you are willing to start at the very bottom or have some experience and are willing to start at the very bottom from like a high school program, then if you're 18 years old, 17, 18 years old, you got plenty of time to build that experience. And by the time you're 22 or 23, you might have built that experience and be doing the work that gets you paid. Basically, these guys that are going to a 4-year college, if they are graduating when they're 22, they're getting entry level positions, you're probably already beating them out. So it's not necessary. All right. So let's say that you are someone who, doesn't want to go into an environment unknowledgeable about what they're doing. If you don't know the difference between a timing chain and a fan belt, then you probably need some training before you show up at a dealership expecting to be a technician, right? If you're not willing to start at the very bottom. So if you have the capability of paying tuition out of school, getting some scholarships, maybe you're prior military like me and you can use the GI Bill, whatever the options are, if you have zero experience working on cars, but it's just something you're really interested in, then I would recommend a program. Um, because the program is going to put you in a position when you go into the shop and someone tells you to do something, you should have a basic knowledge of how to rotate a set of tires. I wouldn't have you doing a brake job after you graduated a trade school without eyes on you the first couple of times to make sure you know what you're doing. But I would start you at that a lot quicker than I would someone I hired straight out of high school with no experience. So yeah, so trade school route is there. The direct hire route is there. There is a huge technician shortage in the country right now. So it's not like if you go into a place that's looking for people and you say, I want to be a technician, but I need training. There's a lot of opportunity out there right now. If you go to a trade school and you apply yourself and actually get a decent grade, good attendance, stuff like that, they're lining up at the doors of the trade schools to hire people. So as a former employee at a trade school, it was against the rules for me to guarantee anybody that they would get a job. But honestly, if you apply yourself, if you don't just go to school and nap and play on your phone, if you apply yourself and try to learn something while you're there and actually attend classes seriously, you will get a job. Right? So there's a third option in here, and that was the option that I kind of took. Like I said, I had a pretty decent high school experience with my diesel program at Central Votech in Drumite, Oklahoma. It was a good program. I learned a lot about diesel engines and trucks, and drive lines and brakes and all the stuff you needed to know to work on heavy trucks, and even got to rebuild a couple of gas engines while I was in the school. So I could have gotten a job, and I did initially at a place in Tulsa doing work on farm equipment, but that didn't pan out because I didn't have reliable transportation at the time to get to that job. So the route I took was I joined the military. And when I joined the military, I joined the branch that offered me a guaranteed job as closest to a diesel technician as you get. With the Air Force, it was special purpose vehicle and equipment repairman. So I got a guaranteed job doing something that I wanted to do. And when I got done with the Air Force career, I had not only the experience of being a technician and learning the trade of working on vehicles and managing vehicles, I also learned valuable supervisory experience. I learned management experience. I learned fleet tracking experience, safety, environmental. I mean, I learned a lot in the military that has served me very well since I've gotten out. Everybody out there I'm going to join the military and gung ho. To be honest with you, I wasn't that gung ho. That's one of the real reasons why I joined the Air Force. I didn't no desire to get shot at or shoot other people, but ultimately I knew that the Air Force could train me in ways that it would take longer for me to get trained in the civilian world. And you don't have to do a full career and retire in the military like I did. I just did it because I liked what I was doing, and I figured that it was a good nest egg for the future for me to have that military retirement. You could do your 2, 4, 6 year enlistment, maybe do a couple 4 years, get out after 8, and you're going to have that hands-on experience that makes you valuable and can allow you to go into a shop floor and start working immediately. The couple of caveats that I want to add to all of this is, number one, training for technicians never ends. Vehicles are becoming more complicated every year, self-driving, automated, different types of safety systems. The computer networking on cars is becoming more and more complicated every day. You can't just simply understand that if you turn a bolt, counterclockwise, it comes off and clockwise it tightens. The old lefty-loosey thing. You need to be a lot smarter than that to work on vehicles now. The guys I got working for me at my new job, I'm very impressed with them. One of them is an older guy, probably close to my age, who is very knowledgeable. And then there's a younger guy that I'm very impressed with. Hopefully they haven't subscribed or watched my YouTube channel because I don't want them knowing this yet because they might get big heads. But I'm very impressed with what they do and the knowledge they have and just the systems. I mean, you will train the rest of your life in this career. I mean, I'm 50 years old and I've been working on heavy equipment, training other people on heavy equipment, and being around trucks and trailers and equipment my entire life. And when I sat down and started going through the manuals for the equipment that we use at the landfill, I I will tell you, I'm learning. I am learning a lot. So do not go into this thinking that after a few years of training, you're a master tech that doesn't need to know anything else. You will learn every day something new if you are taking your job seriously and trying to do it right. So ultimately, in conclusion, trade schools not required, but are helpful, and not the only route. So I hope this helps if you're a young person trying to make a decision on what route to take to be a technician. If you have any questions about it, go ahead and let me know. Thank you.